Welcome to PredictionMachine.com. This is Paul Bessire, General Manager of PredictionMachine.com, and founder and creator of the Predictalator, which plays the game 50,000 times before it's actually played. Whether you're a veteran subscriber to our NFL information, or if you just found out about the site and you want to know what we're all about and how we can help, we've provided these videos not only to outline what's available for the 2011 football season, but also to discuss how to get the most out of the information that we do provide. In this first video, we'll be discussing the Predictalator picks and Paul's picks analysis, which will be published on Wednesdays every week. To know exactly when these picks do become available, you can click on the count in the upper right-hand corner of any page and subscribe to the emails that you would like, including the NFL and college football pick availability alerts. Those emails will be sent out as soon as the picks are published, typically on Wednesdays throughout the week, and include links directly to those plays for your convenience. However, if you'd like to come to the site sometime around that time or leading up to the games of the week, you can come to PredictionMachine.com directly and usually find those picks available, or to go directly to the Predictalator picks themselves, click on the Predictalator game picks page to see what would usually be the NFL plays from the next upcoming Sunday and all of the other plays archived on the right-hand corner of the page. We're going to do that now for what is actually a hypothetical week where the games actually will occur for week 5 of the NFL and week 6 of college football, but where we've come up with the data on our own just for example purposes. Clicking on Game Picks will take us to that page where you see for this week 5 in the NFL on a Sunday, October 9th, we've updated the picks on Wednesday the 5th. Before that, at 6 p.m., we provided the links to the Predictalator picks for both Sunday and Monday, and the Paul's analysis, which is the top 3 against the spread plays for Sunday, and the top play on Monday night. Available right in these articles themselves. On the right, as I mentioned, the archive links will show the NFL and college football plays for each of those dates. In college football, the Paul's picks are the top 3 plays on Saturday, and the top overall against the spread play on either Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. As you can see here, there were no Wednesday games that qualified for the plays. In this example, you'll see the results of playing the game 50,000 times before it's actually played. There's 3 tables, the straight-up tables, as you can see in the middle here, the against the spread tables, which I'm sure are of great interest, and of course the over-under tables then that provide the third table. As an example, the results of the straight-up tables show exactly what's most likely to happen. The game at Pittsburgh between Tennessee and the Steelers should be about a 27-14 game where Pittsburgh in 50,000 simulations wins 87.3% of the time. Now, while that's probably of note to people who might be in survivor pools or who are fans of the Steelers or Titans, the most interesting table on this page is likely the against the spread picks page, where you do see the Paul's picks noted as the top 3 plays. Minnesota is that top play, so that would be considered our lock of the week for that week. And we come to this conclusion by looking at the line, playing the game 50,000 times, and seeing how often the Vikings cover the spread. So while the consensus line at the time in which this was published on Wednesdays is that Minnesota is favored by 3.5 points, we would suggest that it should be closer to 7 points, or at least Minnesota should win by about 7 points on average, and that they do cover that spread 62.2% of the time. It's obviously very significant, and you can see by this green color that corresponds to 2 times a normal play. Normal play should be about 1 to 3% of the bankroll. Of your bankroll, depending on how risk-seeking or risk-averse you are. The more risk-averse you are, obviously the lower that number is. And no matter how risk-seeking you are, never exceed 5% of your bankroll for any given normal play. Now, to calculate exactly what that might mean, besides just 2 times a normal play, you can click on the Calc button next to any play, transfer that number over into the play value calculator, modify the options, and click Calculate. In this case, we're going to use the default normal play of $50. We're going to say that there's no other plays that are currently going on that would also tie up bankroll, but if there are, we would want to change that number. And we're going to do what we normally assume for these tables, and that is leave it at minus 110 odds for this line. If the line is different, it is important to change these numbers to figure out exactly what is needed to justify playing a specific pick. In this case, we haven't changed any of those numbers. And you'll see that $103, or right about 2 times the normal $50 play, is the recommendation for this specific pick. 52.4% is noted here as the percentage needed at minus 110 odds to justify this play. In the table itself, you do see the weak picks, the normal picks, the 2 times picks, but in this red section would be what we consider no picks. that we do not count and consider in our record at all, because at minus 110 odds and 52.4 or less percent or less confidence, we would not have enough confidence to justify playing that. Another thing to note is that new for this season, we have the ability to print these tables, which hopefully will be of use and allow for the ease of use for these plays. But also, for the NFL specifically, that we do have box scores available for every single game, so you know essentially what the average statistics were that went into this. Not only is that beneficial just to get a better understanding of our game, kind of like the Paul's Picks in-depth analysis helps you with as well, but also for fantasy purposes, if you're looking at team stats or individual stats, you can see that if you're trying to make a decision, for instance, between starting Donovan McNabb at quarterback or Kevin Cobb this week, that 5-point differential in fantasy points is significant enough that McNabb is probably your decision. So that's the information that's available through the Predictalator picks. As alluded to, the Paul's Picks analysis, which we have not done for this example, but typically would include very in-depth analysis as to why we believe that the Predictalator is viewing a game in a certain mode and why the play might be very strong, including some kind of analysis as to why the public might be thinking the opposite of how we are, at least differently than we are. If that line changes, if the public mind changes, and it's not due to a significant injury or roster move that would force us to update the pick, then you might need to take the game into your own hands and play it yourself. For the second video, the upcoming video, we'll show you how to best do that and how to get the best information possible when those lines do change.